It's not on Wikipedia that they exploded.
It doesn't seem like it did.
So maybe they didn't. Wait, is there a Wikipedia page about how did they actually go out of business?
Right. It is 3:00, so we probably should start the pod sometime.
I just really need to know this really quick. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't forget. I will forget. I'm sorry.
If I don't do this right now. What is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Marques.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm David.
And if I'm remembering this right, our last episode was outside of our regularly scheduled programming. Check it out. It's a bonus episode, and it has absolutely no tech whatsoever. So if you're in our normal audience who really loves tech, okay. But if you're in our new audience who's maybe like a little into not so much tech, hey, some analog stuff over there. Some mechanical stuff,
Bro.
some acoustic stuff over there.
Transducers over there.
Marques and I just spent 10 minutes arguing about the meaning of the word analog.
So some not so much tech stuff. It's really fun, actually, so go check it out if you want. But now we're back. It's a Friday, for real this time. And apparently there's WordPress drama. I need you to explain this to me because I wasn't aware that that's a sentence that could be a real thing.
Yeah.
What is happening on
I thought
WordPress?
that's just what you call stuff that happens on Tumblr.
WordPress drama?
Was that a bad joke?
Is Tumblr built on WordPress?
Correct.
It's made. Well, it's owned by Automatic, which owns WordPress, but
I need you to explain it.
sort of owns WordPress. Okay. Do you guys know what WordPress is? I feel like we're doing a long form episode right now.
Wait, can I also? We didn't do
In
like what else is
1957.
coming up in this episode.
Oh, right.
So
I don't
maybe
know.
we.
In 1957.
Okay.
Sputnik.
On today's episode, we've got.
Wait. Marques looks like he just didn't want to cut that, so I just
I thought
went
we were
with
just
it.
gonna dive right in.
Keep going.
On today's episode, we've got our favorite developer, Christian Selle, getting another app taken from him. We'll talk about it, but also Pixel 9a leaks, no bar, some more Reddit absurdity, Microsoft killing HoloLens. But first, David, please, what is happening?
Do you guys know what happened on October 4th, 1957?
Oh, God.
No, I'm kidding. It's not Sputnik.
It's very close to my dad's birthday, but no.
Wow.
Yeah.
The way to
My
dox
dad was also born in 1957.
I think he's
Was your dad also born in
early
1957?
60s, but
No.
October 17th.
Mine's.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess my dad's old. All right. WordPress,
If you're still around.
WordPress drama. Have you guys heard? Do you know? You've heard of WordPress.
WordPress is
but do you know what it is?
Is a site that you can. It's kind of like what do we Squarespace. It's like you can build a website on top of it, usually a blog with written posts. That's what I think of when I think of WordPress.
Yeah. So
Different. It's open source, right?
right. So, yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no, and that's what makes this drama so spicy.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So WordPress is technically a CMS or content management system that throughout the years has been built out more and more to be able to run full websites.
Gotcha.
Now, the thing about WordPress is that it's very interesting because there is WordPress.org, which is a open sourced foundation that builds WordPress, right? And then there's also WordPress.com, which is a for-profit company that is owned by Automatic, which is a company that also owns Pocket Casts, Tumblr, some other stuff.
Old school.
Hold on. This is already reminding me of OBS versus Streamlabs OBS.
And that's because it's extremely similar.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, it's actually almost the same story.
It
and
sounds.
I was doing a lot of research on this yesterday, and I was asking a lot of my friends who are really deep in the open source community about this stuff because I wanted to like find some analogies and that kind of stuff. Yes. Okay. So WordPress.org is this open sourced foundation that builds WordPress, and then WordPress.com, owned by Matt Mullenweg, who runs Automatic, which also owns Tumblr, Pocket Cast, Longreads, Gravatar, and actually recently acquired Beeper, if you remember that when that happened.
Weird portfolio.
It is a cool portfolio.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Matt Mullenweg is a co-founder of WordPress. He like built it. He wanted it to be open source. He's like a hardcore open sourced kind of guy. But it's also hard to keep contributing to an open source project if you want it to be your job, right? If you want something to be open source and you're not really like making money from it, a lot of the times what will happen is companies will spin up a for-profit wing of the project that makes money but then contributes back to the open sourced project. And the point of open source is that other people can take that code, use it as the foundation for something, and build other things.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it just so happens that another company took that open source WordPress code and hosts WordPress for people called WordPress Engine. Specifically, what WordPress.com does that WordPress.org does not do is they're like a hosting service, right?
Okay.
So they provide like really easy setup of your website and they'll host it for you. And then they have like customer service and plugins and all this stuff.
Yeah. So you too can have a blog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That sounds like what Marques was comparing to Squarespace.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can use Squarespace to host you, or you can just buy domains from Squarespace, or you can just use them as your host.
Yeah.
I used to have Google domains. They got bought by Squarespace. Now I am forced into the Squarespace oligarchy.
Same.
Yes. Okay. So WordPress Engine, which is this other company that is a host provider that uses WordPress, has been around since about 2010. So they've been around for a really long time. Now, this drama all started at, wouldn't you believe it, a conference called WordCamp, which I cannot believe people go to.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like the nerdiest thing ever, but that's okay.
40% of the web.
40% of the web. It's a conference around WordPress that's hosted in Portland.
Wait, can I also... I think the thing confusing me is saying WordPress every time. And so WordCamp was hosted by WordPress
The foundation.
open source.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So WordPress. Yeah, it's confusing. WordPress.org, open source. WordPress.com, automatic company. But Matt Mullenweg is like a chair of the WordPress.org foundation and is the CEO of Automatic. So there's some weird cross pollination because it was his idea where he has control over the organization, but he also runs a for-profit company. And this is why this drama is spicy and weird.
Okay, fun.
Yeah. Okay. So at the WordCamp conference, he basically had this whole presentation where he started just directly calling out WordPress Engine and telling people that they should move off of them. And the reason is because in a blog post later, he called the company a cancer to the community because they do not contribute like almost anything back to the open source code of WordPress.org. Generally in open source, it's kind of like standard to like if you're using open source code, have engineers that are like building upon it and then pushing that back into the open source version of the project. Because the whole point of open source is that the community is getting together to make something really good that everyone can build off of, right? So apparently, Matt says that WordPress.com, Automatic's company that he is CEO of, contributes 3,900 hours per week to the development of the WordPress open source code, whereas he says that WordPress Engine only contributes 40 hours a week to it. So this story is kind of a mix of like what's legally okay versus what's morally okay, and that's what makes it really interesting. So Matt sent a cease and desist letter to WordPress Engine for using the abbreviation WP because he says it will mix people up thinking that it's actually WordPress when it's not WordPress.
That is exactly the Streamlabs OBS like scenario. But wait, did he send the letter to himself?
No, because he sent it to WP Engine.
Okay, wait.
Because so Matt's on the chair of WordPress.org, the foundation.
Yes.
Also CEO of WordPress.com, for-profit company. And then WP Engine is a separate company owned by the private equity firm.
Okay.
Yeah. WordPress.com and WP Engine are both hosts. Like they host WordPress sites, right?
Yes. I got lost a little bit.
No,
there.
if you're confused, I don't want the podcast listeners
like
to be
old
confused.
Am I the only one?
Right?
We like old school.
RuneScape.
Am I the only one confused by that?
I'm trying to keep up.
Okay.
What's your question? Do you have questions?
What's the drama?
Oh,
Well, the main drama is that Matt Mullenweg, who is the co-founder of the WordPress Foundation and CEO of Automatic, which owns WordPress.com, is angry that WP Engine does not contribute to the open source code of WordPress.org.
Well, they do.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
40 hours a week,
Yeah.
he
Just very
says,
little.
which is
Dude.
one employee. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So he sent a cease and desist letter to WP Engine for using a name that makes customers think that WP Engine is WordPress, because when people go and they want to set up a WordPress site, the SEO probably sometimes directs you to WP Engine and sometimes directs you to WordPress.com. And it's kind of his fault, in my opinion, that he called his for-profit website WordPress.com when WordPress.org is the open source foundation? I don't know. That's kind of confusing. Okay.
I can confirm. There is confusion to be had.
There's confusion. Okay. WP Engine then responded with their own cease and desist that claimed that Matt demanded that they send a very large sum of money just days before the WordPress convention. And if they don't send it, he was going to carry out a, quote, scorched earth nuclear approach against this company. So he allegedly sent them a text saying he was going to make the case at WordPress Camp as to why they're banning WordPress Engine in a slide deck called How Private Equity Can Hollow Out and Destroy Open Source Community, a story in 4 parts.
I would watch that YouTube video.
I already want to watch it. Yeah.
And then he demanded that they pay a licensing fee for the name WordPress or contribute their fair share to the development of WordPress. So this story is kind of around like technically open source, right? You can build anything off you want off the open source code, and there's nothing legally that says you have to contribute back to it. However, Matt is very angry that this private equity firm clearly does not care about the development of WordPress, saw an opportunity, saw it runs 40% of the web, and was like, let's just make a ton of money. And its name is very similar to WordPress, so it has good SEO already.
If you get 1% of that 40%, you're banking.
Yeah. So then WordPress.org banned WP Engine from accessing their servers to actually pull the open source code from, which means that none of their customers could like ever update their sites when the WordPress.org foundation updated the code. And it made it so it was very difficult for WP Engine customers to use the service. Matt then did reverse the ban, but gave them until October 1st to create their own mirror to WordPress.org or resolve their conflict. Anyway, that's most of the drama. There was an update this morning that it was revealed that Automatic asked for 8% of WP Engine's revenue either to be paid directly to Automatic or to WP Engine employees to contribute to WordPress.org. But if they chose the 8% route, WP Engine would have to give WordPress.org and Automatic full rights to their timesheets to make sure they were fulfilling their obligations. Yeah, so
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's very confusing. It's very boring, but it is kind of wild. I think this is kind of what happens when you have one person who is hardcore about open source, who runs the foundation and a for-profit company off of the foundation. It's like you're allowing other people to make things based on your code, but you're also demanding that they do a thing that they're not actually legally obligated to do.
Yeah, but I feel like he's also coming at this from the point of like, it's kind of an unwritten rule where like,
Yes.
it's open source. Like you should be contributing to it if you're using it. You know? So like for him to make that demand, yes, it's illegal or not legally obligated, I guess is the way of phrasing it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fair in my opinion. I don't know. Because it's like you're using this.
It's one of those things that's not like legally incorrect, but morally incorrect.
Right.
And
Because they're a private equity firm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the whole point of it is, you know, you're taking all that again. Streamlabs OBS was like taking all this stuff from an open broadcast source.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it was a streaming site or a streaming program that was all open source. And then Streamlabs, a for-profit company that was like taking it and they threw OBS at the end of their name to the program. So people
OBS, right.
thought it was OBS, the open source one, but really it was a way to make money off of what felt like the name.
It's
Where do you think this is going to go?
Like where are we at right now?
right. The reason that the story is like spicy and kind of important is that it could change the way that open source works. And like, or the ability for an organization and foundation to have like such a close affiliation with like a for-profit company. Because I think there's a kind of a conflict of interest there.
Yeah, that seems like what people would have a strong disagreement with.
Well, especially since he said either pay Automatic directly, which is not WordPress.org. And I'm sure that his mindset is like, we will have engineers work on the project based on your funds, or you contribute directly, but we will like look at your timesheets, which is
I feel like that's just like
wild.
Trying to force their hand to just have their employees work on the open source code.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he actually expects them to pay him 8%, you know?
I mean, he asked for it.
Yeah, it's like give me $1 million
I see what you mean,
or
yeah.
invest that in your own company. You
Right.
know, like that's basically what he's saying, so that they can work on open source.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can give me the money and I will gladly take it. But like the smarter route is to just have your engineers work on the open source code like everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. So who knows where this goes? I think a lot of people are just like, this could end up in a legal battle, and that legal battle could change the way that open source organizations work. But yeah, it's spicy because they cut off WP Engine's like access for a while, and it made a ton of websites not work properly.
But thank you for explaining that. I'm sure anyone listening well in tune with what's going on was like, that was a terrible example of it, but it's because David had to dumb it down so hard for us to understand.
Yeah.
But thank you for
You're welcome.
doing it for us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's all kind of crazy. I'm interested to see how it comes out, where this goes, if it goes anywhere, if this is just going to be a public headbutting for a little while.
Probably for a little bit. Probably
happens.
for a little bit. But anyway, we can move on until there's an update on that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Christian time.
Sure. So I remember you a couple months ago telling me that he made a Vision Pro YouTube app.
Yeah, Juno.
And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm pretty sure at some point I was like, how long till this gets removed?
Sure. Can I explain Juno real quick?
Yeah,
There's no YouTube app inside the Apple Vision Pro.
correct.
Christian Selig, very popular developer, one we've talked about a million times on here because he made Apollo, the Reddit app, which recently got
It was
destroyed.
the martyr for Reddit going down.
And he made this app inside of the Vision Pro to let you watch YouTube. Now, it wasn't specifically a YouTube app. It was kind of like a reskinned Safari browser that was solely focused on YouTube and like made it feel like a native YouTube app. But the way he got around it was kind of like, it's not using YouTube's API, but it's using, I'm pretty sure, Safari. And it's kind of just like a new way of opening a Safari tab inside of YouTube with a full screen player and like skipping, play, pause, different controls and stuff. The App Store just took it down, which, you kind of called.
It was because of Google, though.
It was because of Google?
Yeah,
YouTube took it down.
Google forced them to
Oh.
take it down, saying it violated their trademark.
Okay.
In April, YouTube told Christian that Juno violated YouTube's API terms of service, but he rebutted to them and said, I don't even use the YouTube API.
Okay.
So they were just assuming that he was using the YouTube API, apparently. And then after all that, he like removed the YouTube logo from the app's homepage and added unofficial to its app store description. But now it's at the point where it's getting actually serious, and he has to take it down. Now, famously, when the Vision Pro launched, there were a bunch of apps that were missing that everyone was like, this is making this headset like way less useful. Netflix was one of them that still has not launched a Netflix app. Apparently, YouTube is planning on launching a Vision Pro app in February, which is interesting because everyone was sort of thinking that Google was just doing it because they didn't want Apple's product to succeed. But yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming if they're taking down Christians at this point, because like if you don't have your own app on a platform and someone makes a third party one, they're giving you another way to like watch your service, which to me says like, which to me is like, that's only good for you. But them forcing him to take it down tells me that they are planning on soon launching theirs and they just don't want there to be a competitor.
To play devil's advocate too, also, if you run YouTube and someone else makes a third-party YouTube app and a lot of people think it's a YouTube app, that's out of your control. So no matter what that person does with that app in the future, people will think it's you. Even if they do lots of good things, that's great for you. But when they do something bad, you can't.
Right.
You can't have
YouTube
it.
does enough bad things by themselves to catch flack.
true.
They don't need someone else.
Totally true. They want to own those bad things, all of them. So yeah, I guess I wasn't shocked. I'm actually surprised that it took this long. But at this point, now the only way you can watch YouTube videos on the Vision Pro is back to just the browser, the Safari, like going to youtube.com in Safari and watching them there.
I think this is such a view into the future versus what it used to be like in the past on like Android phones and early iPhones when everyone was making wrappers for everything to make the experience better. And it was just kind of known and open that people are going to be doing this. And there were like 20 different Reddit clients and a bunch of different clients for Twitter. And like the developer community was so cool and vibrant, and then now all of these companies are trying to take back control of their platforms, keep all their users on their platform so that they see the ads that gives them money, all this stuff.
The thing about it, it wasn't like Vanced or whatever that takes away ads. It was still playing all of the regular ads because it's still just streaming a YouTube video.
Did it allow downloading or something? There's something.
I don't know.
Sure. Let's see.
I mean, clearly the lawyers didn't really know anything about how he built it because they were like, you're using our API. And he was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that Google was just like, there's a thing that does our thing. You should make it stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's using our name. Cease and desist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I am old enough to remember when YouTube, the app, was preloaded on every iPod Touch.
Mm-hmm.
And
Remember that fire logo that it used to have?
Yeah, that analog, that skeuomorphic logo.
Analog.
That's analog. That is. We're
There's an analog TV. That was like the first piece of tech that I really got for myself as a kid, and having the YouTube app on the iPod Touch, like that was formative for me.
Oh, that was also like basically my first big piece.
Yeah.
Besides
So
my iPod Classic.
I remember, the good old collaboration days between Apple and YouTube. But
Yeah.
Yep, this has gone from the App Store. We'll see if we end up getting a YouTube app for the Vision Pro at some point. I will say I haven't actually used my Vision Pro now in at least 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is for
Time to whip that
you
out.
the most useful time? Do you think the plane is the most useful time to use it?
It's great for just casual browsing, random stuff.
But you haven't used it in 2 months.
Right, like very casual gaming. So I'll take it on my next flight. I will.
Marques doesn't do anything casually.
Well, so
Only 100% all of the
basically.
time.
Yeah, there are some movies that I want to watch. And I think one of them was on Apple TV. So I think I will download it on the Vision Pro and watch it on the plane.
Can I ask what movie it is?
Alien.
The new
Like,
one?
The first,
There's a new
the
one?
1979.
Why is that the one you want to watch?
Because there's a new one and I want to see Alien.
There's a
or
lot of
see
them.
Alien.
There's a few.
What?
We'll see.
There's a
I
few.
might end up watching all
No,
of
no,
them.
no. It's because I've known you for a little bit now, and
Yeah.
I've never heard you be like, I want to go to the movies.
That's
and
why
see
I
this.
asked.
No, I
yeah.
don't. I don't want to go to the movies.
He
Oh,
wants
but
to
I
see
wanna
it in
watch
the
it.
Vision Pro.
okay.
Yeah, I don't
Still
ever.
cool. This is cool for you. I like this. I like this.
Yeah.
He's gonna go to the movies with his Vision Pro.
No, I'm not going to. I'm going to watch it when it comes out, and I can watch it. Not
This reminds me that I had like I have mini. It's not even really a tangent, just a small thing. Speaking of the movies,
See you in 20 minutes.
speaking of the movies,
small tangent.
last night I accidentally went and watched a 2-hour children's film in the movie theater.
What's the accidentally?
Yeah,
part?
how was this an accident?
So there's a movie called The Wild Robot that came out, and it.
Yes,
Okay, look. Yes, it's animated. Okay, but
it's Astrobot.
97%.
yeah, look, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. I saw like 2 people that I follow on Twitter being like, The Wild Robot is like really beautiful and really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, huh, it might be like one of those animated movies that's like actually made for adults. So I didn't look up anything about it. I took a friend. We bought some tickets. Neither of us had read anything about it, looked up anything about it. It was like really hard to watch because it was such a children's movie.
This looks awesome.
I mean, the animation style is incredible.
Yeah.
But just the writing and the pacing and the fact that there's like orchestral music playing the entire time and there's no like pacing at all. And it's just kind of like fast-paced children's movie, and then everyone's happy together and working together all the time. It was just it was
So
tough.
unrealistic.
I don't think that makes a good children's movie. I always think, like, I always keep going back to A Bug's Life being a good, like, an underrated movie. There's like deep stories
Underrated?
and dramas and villains, and like it's a well-rounded movie. Even though it's a kids movie, you can still enjoy it as an adult. I think that's what makes it a good
like
children's movie.
Shrek,
Yeah, yeah.
Ants.
SpongeBob, Ants.
But somehow
The real Bug's
this
Life?
has like a 98%.
Yeah, I'm not okay. Look, to be clear, I'm not saying this movie is bad. I'm saying it was clearly made for kids, and it's
And you
really
didn't know.
I
going
didn't
in.
know, so I kept waiting for there to be some sort of like real like gripping story, and it just really wasn't there. and I left the movie theater being like, man, I just literally watched a full kids movie.
The lights turn on, it's just toddlers everywhere.
Dude, there was only like 8 people in the theater, and they're just kids running and screaming around the entire time. I was like, sorry, I can't do this. I can't be a next door kind of guy. That's what I feel right now.
Lock all those kids up.
Lock them in their chairs.
Can't be running.
We told you it was a 20-minute detour.
Hey, that was only like 5. Anyway, that was my movie theater rant. Since you will not be watching this in a movie theater.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, we should take a break. We got way more to talk about Pixel stuff, Reddit stuff. But before we do that, I think we should do some trivia.
Trivia, dude. So, first question. Friend of the pod, Christian Selig, maker of the Apollo Reddit app, which we have covered at length here. Also Pixel Pals.
Yeah,
I was hoping that was going to be the question.
No, that's not the question because it's awesome and everyone should go get that app. But did you know he also has a YouTube channel? Mm-hmm. You did?
I do.
Okay.
because I got served his video.
Nice. His last video was all about making a common tech accessory from scratch.
That's right.
Can you tell me what he made? Here's a hint. There's one of them in this room right now.
You don't need to give him a hint.
Well, it sounds like you guys have both seen his YouTube channel.
There's a 3D print of Marques.
Oh my God.
I got served the video, and I was like, wait, he just started a YouTube channel. I clicked on it. He has like multiple videos. So I was like, wow, I feel like a terrible friend.
There's one. Okay, I'll be using there's one in this room heavily.
That's why I gave you the
Too good of
I-
a hint.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, I'll be thinking about that. And the answers will be at the end, like usual. We'll be right back. Support for Waveform comes from Shopify. Growing a business year after year isn't easy. Markets fluctuate, customer bases dry up, and today's innovative product becomes tomorrow's obsolete paperweight. So how can you find creative new ways to keep selling no matter what the future holds? You might want to check out Shopify. Shopify is an all-in-one digital commerce platform that wants to help your business sell better than ever before. It doesn't matter if your customers spend their time scrolling through your feed or strolling past your physical storefront. Shopify says that they can help you convert those browsers into buyers and sell more over time. Their Shop Pay feature may even convert more customers and end those abandoned shopping carts for good. There's a reason companies like Allbirds turn to Shopify to sell more products to more customers. Businesses that sell more, sell with Shopify. Want to upgrade your business and use the same checkout Allbirds uses? You can sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/waveform. So you can go to shopify.com/waveform to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/waveform. Support for Waveform comes from Netsuite. When it comes to predicting the future, there's one thing you can count on for sure. Most people's guesses will be totally wrong. And that makes it super tricky to run a business that needs to anticipate market swings and customer sentiment. That's why many businesses have gotten themselves future ready with NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the go-to business management suite for almost 40,000 companies, offering everything you need to stay on track no matter what tomorrow brings. NetSuite combines accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more into one simple platform, offering a single source of truth. Get real-time insights and data you can use to make the right decisions faster than ever before. So don't get caught looking backwards, get ahead of the curve, and stay focused on what's coming next with NetSuite by Oracle. So speaking of opportunities, you can download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/waveform. The guide is free for you at netsuite.com/waveform. That's netsuite.com/waveform. All right, welcome back. We got to talk about this Pixel 9a leak. So I don't know if you've watched the Pixel Fold review. I mentioned in that Pixel 9 Pro Fold review that the camera bump on the back doesn't quite look like the rest of the Pixels. Like, it's not a visor, it's more of like a bubble in the corner, and it's just I kind of wish it was more of a visor. It's a square, actually. Either way, it's not a visor, right? Now we have leaks of what may be the next A-series Pixel, the budget Pixel, Pixel 9a. And for those who are not watching in video, it also is not a visor. Matter of fact, it's just an essential phone.
It's the essential phone. Like,
it's a flat-sided, glossy-backed,
big old bezel.
Big, not huge, but like it's an A-series.
For today, that's a big bezel.
Even bezels, hole punch cutout, and totally separate flash next to the camera module, dual cameras. It looks very essential phone, but with a giant G on the back.
And a huge camera. But
How are we feeling? Is this boring? I mean, it's black. There's no like colors leaked in this particular render.
I mean, if it was made out of the same materials as the essential phone, maybe I'd be excited. Ceramic.
That's a
It was
super good
ceramic.
point. Yeah.
the
Ceramic.
essential phone. People forget that phone back in the day was like pretty well
highest
spec'd.
build
It was
quality ever.
really well built, and it was like $400,
Affordable.
right?
I think it was
I thought it was
49,
5.
549 or
Oh,
something.
I'm off
And it
on
had
that.
a headphone jack.
Well,
Oh wait.
Oh, wait.
Psych.
hey, you could buy an attachment to put
I
a
don't
headphone jack.
think they ever sold that attachment, though, right? It was on the roadmap, but I don't think they ever
dongle.
put it out.
I thought
Or
they
maybe
eventually did. The first
The
one was
DAC.
that 360
The
camera.
360 camera.
Yeah.
Maybe they did sell it.
Anyway, the Pixel 9a will probably be very, very predictable. It will probably be $449 or something like that. It will probably be a Tensor G4. It will probably be the old camera sensors, regular and ultra wide.
Yeah.
It will probably be. Do we think it'll have in-screen fingerprint or power button fingerprint? That's the only thing I'm not sure.
What does it look like in
I would
this?
prefer.
This render looks like 2 regular buttons. So I would guess not
I guess
power button.
probably in screen, but maybe not ultrasonic because it'd be cheaper.
that.
Because they're
makes
ultrasonic
sense.
now and the new ones.
Probably optical. Probably 128 gigs of storage. Gemini 8 gigs of RAM.
Did you explain why this looks like the essential phone? Because there's no camera bump,
Yeah, right.
like
sorry. Yeah, it's
recessed
flat.
camera. Yeah,
It's very flat as well.
which I like.
I think a lot of people are going to like. I'm hoping that means enough battery as well. Like, go ahead and add battery if you want to flatten out the back of the phone and not have a camera bump and have more battery. Great. Love that.
Well, that just generally means the sensors are way smaller, right?
Also 100% true. The reason we have the camera bumps on these phones is because the sensors are huge and they have a large z-axis dimension, which means you just need to protrude it out the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, smaller sensors equals smaller camera bump. I think the conversation with Pixel for me is still mostly around like, is the next version actually going to be like a huge jump up for Tensor? Is it actually going to be the exciting like?
Well, this is going to be G4.
Right, this one's not going to have the new one.
Yeah.
It'll be Pixel 10 generation that has that stuff.
Yeah.
So still a wait for that. But that's the question: is like, okay, should I buy the Pixel 9 series generation stuff, or should I be waiting for this alleged amazing huge efficiency update for the 10 and the Tensor G5 if they still call it that? Unsure.
Yeah.
A lot of rumors about that.
Well, for the 100th time, they're releasing this allegedly in spring, like usual.
I want to say,
And they need to stop doing that because I know why they do it in that they're just like the parts are so similar to the regular phone that people aren't buying them anymore. So if they release a new thing, but it uses a lot of the same parts, they're technically just selling more of the phone.
Yep.
But when they do this like this, the 9 is out only like 6 months before the 10.
Yeah.
The 9A, 6 months before the 10. So it's just like, I don't want to buy this phone when the 10's about to come out. But if it's half the price, then maybe people won't care
What
as
if
much.
they did it the Apple way, and instead of calling it the 9A, they called it the Pixel SE?
Yeah.
So you don't think about the 9 as much. It's just a budget Pixel.
And the way that Apple does it is they only release an SE every few years.
True.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Because
Aren't there
apparently
rumors about the
yeah,
new SE?
it's going to be like iPhone 10 body. That's
Roughly.
what people are saying.
10R maybe?
Yeah. Which is annoying because I wish it was a mini. They should just make it the iPhone mini body.
Ellis's head shot up.
His ears perked up.
How many times have we
Sorry,
had
I-
this
Waveform
conversation?
podcast, I sleep.
I'm reading the
iPhone mini.
the Tesla self-driving case, like legal.
Oh,
I'm trying to decide if it's worth talking about, but I heard iPhone mini and was like, wait.
I just want to say I appreciate that this leak is 6 months until this probably comes out.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah, it's
out there.
Yeah. Well, it's
This-
Google.
I know.
So-
It's so on brand.
Yeah, they are not good at keeping secrets.
Also, do we think this is going to be more expensive? Because the 8A was $499, I think, at
The
launch, wasn't
the
it?
rumors that it's
It
the
was?
same price.
Oh, it is.
I thought it was
the same price.
$449. Pixel.
I think it was
I thought we
$499. It was
hit
$499.
$499,
We keep
yeah.
jacking the price up every year.
We don't
we
do
can
it.
go higher.
Well, not every.
Don't get on us.
Yeah, true.
I don't think you can launch this higher than $500.
But what if it has all the Gemini stuff?
They also increased the price of the standard Pixel 9 by $100. Remember?
they did?
Yeah. So now
That's what makes this like,
I
is
think
this a good buy or not?
it makes
It's
it a
gonna-
better value.
It really depends on
because
the price here.
8A was like almost the same price as the on sale 8.
Should we? Okay. Well, should we bet on the price, the launch price of the Pixel 9a?
$499.
$499.
Let's do it. $499?
$549.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Okay, I'll go $599.
Oh my god! If it's $500,
I hope that's wrong.
DOA.
I
if
really
it's
hope that's
$599.
wrong.
Yeah.
I
They don't
mean,
even have a camera
Do
bar.
they add a bunch of RAM? Is that how they could?
It's supposed to have 8 gigs of RAM. Probably for the AI stuff.
because all the Pixel 9s have.
I think the reason the regular Pixels could go up is because you start getting to that next iteration of like 500, right? Or even 250 maybe. So like 500 feels like the limit of what these middle range, lower end phones are.
Yeah, we've had flagships cost.
But like the Pixel ones were under 1,000, so they could bump that up to get to the 1,000. They shouldn't. Well, whatever. They can do whatever they want. This feels like if you go 549, if you go 599 on this,
That's crazy.
that's
that better be on sale in like a week, right after it comes out.
Yeah,
They've
I think that's bad.
Every year it goes up by a little bit. I bet it's going up again.
Dang.
$499.
Do you guys remember the Pixel 4a? Best value phone ever?
Correct.
$349.
I gave that thing a trophy.
That's wild.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So wait, you were just reading about Pixel about
Tesla full
full
self-driving.
self-driving. Did you guys see the Cybertruck is slowly getting a rollout of full self-driving?
I'm scared of that.
So I just want you to know when you see a Cybertruck on the road, that thing might be driving itself.
Yeah.
Just want you to know.
Are you turning yours on?
I guess I'm in the early wave. I don't use autopilot that much, but I kind of want to see what happens.
I got tailgated by a Hummer EV the other day and almost thought about quitting driving.
I've been seeing a lot of them recently, by
It
the way.
Actually,
flew up on me, and I was like, "Hold on a minute!" But
I've seen quite a few recently.
Hummer EVs,
Yeah.
they're out there.
was it
They're
the
just as
pickup
scary.
truck or the SUV?
It was a pickup truck
'Cause I
then
recently-
he blew by me on like 2 lanes to the right.
Because I was recently reading a comparison of the Hummer SUV to like the R1S and some other electric pickup trucks, and I realized the Hummer is only 2 rows. It's like by far the biggest one, but it's only 2 rows for some reason. I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
It's gigantic. Also, for those who might not have seen the Silverado EV review, the Silverado pickup truck gets well over 400 miles of range.
Wait, I missed the Silverado completely.
It came
somehow.
It came out really recently.
We got the
We had it though. I
we had it.
totally missed
the
it.
I
full
didn't even
size.
see it.
This was one where I was like, is it actually going to get this much range? Because everyone keeps telling me like, oh yeah, the Rivian's fine and like the F-150 Lightning is fine, but just don't forget about the Silverado. It gets 450 miles of range.
That's
and I'm like,
crazy.
dude, are you serious? Do you really think it's going to get that much range? But then it comes out and we test it. The thing has a 205 kilowatt hour battery. It is enormous.
Oh, wow.
It is extremely heavy, just like the Hummer. But the Hummer's not aerodynamic or trying to be efficient. It's got off-road tires.
Trying to
It's
be
not.
inefficient.
It has no intention of getting a ton of range. It has 1,000 horsepower. But the Silverado EV, not as sporty, 475 miles of range on the dash. And like a very legit, like if
did it
you
get
drive
that?
like a grandma, I could get 430 probably.
That's still really
but
high.
that's really good.
Yeah, for a
So-
truck.
But the only way they could do that was by having a 6,000 pound battery in the bottom of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where we're at.
Also, the reason we have been seeing way more Hummer EVs is because, according to Good Car, Bad Car automotive sales data, in 2022, Hummer sold 854. In 2023, they sold 3,260. And this year, so far, they have sold 8,903.
Why are people buying so many? Aren't they still expensive? What's going on? I don't understand.
Doesn't
Look
seem
at this
to stop
graph.
people.
What is happening? They're taking off for some reason. Sorry, how many did you say were sold this year?
9,000.
9,000?
Yeah.
That's also how many R1Ss were sold this year.
This year.
Yeah, 10,000.
But is Rivian going down in sales?
No, that's yeah, maybe a little. They sold 23,000 last year, so maybe they're down a little. But
Well,
they
and the
sold a
year's
lot
not-
in the last part of the
yeah.
year, so it's probably similar to last year.
Crazy.
That is a lot of Hummers.
Why are people buying these? Who is buying these?
Maybe for home battery backups.
If you're watching the dishes and just bought a Hummer EV, tweet at us.
0 tweets.
That's wild.
Maybe one.
Well, shout out to the Hummer.
I'm fishing.
All right, Andrew, you want to explain this Reddit news to
David
us?
probably actually knows more about this than I do.
I
saw
saw it and assumed that you could explain it to us.
I don't feel like censoring the next 3 minutes, so let's.
Okay, David.
Okay.
What is happening?
All right. I'll try to make this less boring. It's not WordPress.
No, I can get more angry at this, so
Andrew's
don't worry.
locked in.
Okay.
I'm ready.
If you
Andrew
remember,
just sat up. You know that meme where it's like the gamer sitting back?
Reddit? Okay.
Okay, so if you remember last year, there was a big Reddit revolt because they basically made their API completely inaccessible because they made it so expensive that no third-party app developers could really feasibly run a third-party Reddit client unless they charged for it.
Well, there's like one or two.
That's why I said unless they charge
You
for
charge
it.
And I only have one, and I pay a subscription.
And he pays for it.
and
Exactly.
That's how I get it.
Right. So, okay. Yeah, that's how Christian Selig's
Can we like
This is
shout
a
out
Christian
Pixel?
Selig podcast.
Yeah, can we say like go buy Pixel Pals?
Go buy-
Because if Christian, if you're
support
listening to
this
this
man.
episode, I'm sorry about us talking about all the things that have been taken from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that API change that got rid of all the third-party apps because the official app really sucks and has like it's just not good.
It's still terrible.
It's still terrible. There was a bunch of site-wide protests, which included a bunch of subreddits taking their subreddits private. Because if you didn't know, Reddit is run by a bunch of unpaid moderators of people who are just enthusiasts about a topic.
Like Wikipedia.
And they're the ones that basically like run the subreddits. They moderate the subreddits. They like take inbox requests and all this stuff. And so now that Reddit IPO'd and is trying to make money back for its investors, it basically effectively cut off the API so it can like maintain all the users on its app. Okay. So Reddit eventually won that war because obviously they just needed to wait it out until either the Reddit admins took over the inactive subreddits or just closed down the subreddits. Usually they took over them.
You can't delete a subreddit. So as far as I know, probably all of them are open because if it was down long enough and someone requested to take over it,
Right.
the Reddit administrators would do that, which is what happened to MKBHD.
Right.
It is now
An unofficial
completely
subreddit
unofficial
because
from us,
Okay. So a way that subreddits were also protesting was basically taking their subreddits private, which is a thing that you can do where you have to be invited to be on the subreddit. It's a feature, but by taking it private, it forces anyone that's not invited to be part of the subreddit to not be able to see it. So this subreddit is private. Another thing that they were doing to protest was they were changing the subreddit from a safe for work subreddit to a not safe for work subreddit. And what that does is it stops ads from being able to play on the subreddit because ad networks don't want their ads affiliated with not safe for work content.
And I think it also made it so like if you're in a logged out state, it won't show not safe for work stuff, I believe won't show on a front page of something that's not curated inside of a user account.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what Reddit is doing is they are making it so that if you either want to take the sub private or you want to change it to a not safe for work subreddit, you have to submit a request to Reddit itself, and then they will approve or deny that request. So they are basically taking away as many possible ways for people to protest on Reddit as possible.
Shocker.
You know? And they have all this kind of hand wavy thing of you can still protest by commenting.
You can still protest by giving us more traffic.
Yeah, which does nothing. There are some little asterisks, requests that will be automatically approved for subreddits that are smaller than 5,000 members or less than 30 days old. So technically you could protest if you don't matter.
Sick.
Yeah, to the subreddit's traffic.
It just seems like a
To Reddit's traffic.
Band-Aid fix for
I mean, it's basically
no real
completely stopping people from being able to effectively protest on Reddit.
At least in the way that they have in the past.
Yeah.
I wonder what would constitute something they would approve on setting a subreddit private. Like what would we have to do
Not
if we
safe for work content.
Or
No, but that's a whole nother switch.
so and you have to get that approved as well, right?
Yeah.
So what's the approval process on that? Post like a bunch of not safe for work content on the page and then say this should be not safe for work, or like
approved? How do we get privating the MKBHD subreddit approved?
if we were still part of it.
If we were part
just
of it.
making sure that's clear.
Which we're not. But like if we
are
actually,
literally
if
not
we
at all.
wanted to, how would we? Is there any good reason to? Not that I know of.
If there's one thing I know about the Reddit community, they will find a way to protest it. They're
That's
creatives
true.
over
They
there.
are creative.
We should all move to Dig.
Lemmy,
Is Dig
baby.
still around?
Let's go to Lemmy.
I mean, everyone left Dig for
I
it.
know that was like such a.
Would be
Oh,
fun.
this is just a like
no.
clickbait site.
Oh no, it's a click.
This is like old BuzzFeed.
Yeah,
That's a sad.
that's
Let's take it back.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it in this state.
All right. Next up, Microsoft discontinuing HoloLens 2 with no replacements. Did you guys see this?
and nobody was.
I didn't
sad
know they
about
were
it.
still making HoloLens.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But I think it's because HoloLens is all enterprise related.
Didn't they have military contracts?
They have a bunch of, I think they have a ton of different contracts, and it actually is extremely popular in a lot of different enterprise situations. I would argue they're like Microsoft and HoloLens probably has some of the best, I'm assuming best AR technologies out there because they've been working on it for so long.
You would think.
They did in 2017.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
a
about
great
now.
assumption.
I mean, they still updated it again later, and there is 2. There was talk of a 3 coming out, but now that's obviously not happening.
Just like the Surface Duo. No 3 for
I mean,
that either.
I think it was part of the reason it was so enterprise focused is they didn't have a good form factor for consumers. You know, there's still this big clunky. It looks a lot like the MetaQuest Pro, or I keep thinking about Magic Leap. Which did you know there was a second Magic Leap that came out 2 years ago?
I found that out recently.
I found that out looking up stuff in this.
Yeah.
But I think the main reason I wanted to bring this up is so they've finished production of HoloLens 2 and they're not ramping it back up. So any ones that are built now are the last ones available. They will have updates until December 2027. But with seeing Orion glasses and Meta Ray-Ban glasses and I guess not Ray-Bans, but like these new Snap spectacles, do we think Microsoft is fully out of the AR game, or do we think we're going to see something under a different name that's focused on consumers?
I lean towards the second one.
Me too.
I lean enterprise every time with Microsoft.
You think
That's so fair.
But do you think it'd be dumb for them to...
You said OpenAI?
What?
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I was thinking about something else.
Do you think Microsoft is going to just stop AR?
Oh, every few years, Microsoft makes a new AR thing that they like use a bunch of OEMs like Lenovo and Dell to create AR things for, and then they make Paint 3D, and then they discontinue Paint 3D. And I have faith that they will make another consumer AR thing, and I also have faith that it will last a year and a half.
Fair.
Yeah,
I think... Go for it, sorry.
excel in VR. No, I think it's fair that Microsoft is very enterprise focused. So that's probably where they'll continue to focus. But let me zoom out your question a little bit.
Sure.
Actually, I just watched Cleo Abrams' interview with Mark Zuckerberg, and one of the sort of larger topics of that conversation was that like Zuck firmly believes that these AR glasses are the next generation computing platform, like post smartphone. Do we think that that's possibly true?
I hope that's not
no,
true.
because there's wearable AI devices now.
Yo, didn't that guy just say like 2 years ago that normal VR headsets were like the next thing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Well, that's because we didn't have the tech to do AR stuff.
Man.
And now they're showing these prototypes, and
'cause
I
Vision Pro wasn't out yet.
really want to try this
me too.
Orion
Yeah, I do
prototype.
too.
Me too.
But when I think about this idea, it feels possible because remember we did this video about we have VR headsets, we have Snapchat glasses, and somewhere in the middle is this like VR experience where the whole computer like fits in the glasses and you can just like, see things projected on your world, and that's where they're both racing from both directions.
Yeah, the Ray-Bans and the Oculus.
Yeah. And if you give that tech the benefit of the doubt and just fast forward the tech in your head, and let's say these glasses exist where you actually have like some AR experience, could you go without your smartphone in this world? Is that actually the next thing, or is this also in addition to your phone? Because I have a hard time picturing.
So the Orion at least has a separate compute puck.
It does.
Yeah. I could see this being a thing. I just don't want it to be a thing because I would prefer to know when people are not listening to me versus them just wearing glasses like this.
Like spacing out.
And I just have no idea that they're like watching a TikTok. Like, that is the most dystopian thing I've ever heard.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it seems like we're going that way anyway, but
Yeah.
at least if you can tell, then it's not as bad.
Yeah.
I agree with you that that's why I think they're going away from HoloLens, but Microsoft doesn't put 6 or 7 years into like AR technology and research and development, and I think not go a different route. I think if they were staying with enterprise, they would keep the HoloLens name because it's super popular. But I think there's no way they just ditch AR together. I feel like they have to release something new.
I think they
eventually.
will, because AR is like high tide, low tide, right? There's a time for it, and then it has a nuclear winter, and then there's a time for it again.
Is that how tides work?
And then there's nukes make the tides go up and down.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think Microsoft will see it as an opportunity. Like, oh, maybe this time is the time it's gonna be the thing.
Oh my God,
and then
so right.
And then it doesn't work, and then they're like, well, we're an enterprise company, so we'll try to make it work for the enterprise.
Dude,
and then they try to convince everyone it's going to work for enterprise, and no one cares.
Dave,
and then,
oh my God, you're so right. Just like when I was like in elementary school, I had a Logitech webcam that had AR features built in, like very basic, like, oh, you're a dinosaur, you know what I mean? And then it went away. And then the Nintendo 3DS came out, and there was the AR cards, and then no one cared again. And then Snapchat filters came back.
yeah. Yeah, it's literally,
We're in the
sine wave.
We're in high tide right now.
Are we cosine or sine?
I don't know.
Sine.
Man.
Tangent.
Did you guys see what these two Harvard students did
Oh,
with
yeah.
the Meta Ray-Ban glasses?
Yes.
I didn't know.
Bad.
So
Wait, where's the button?
these two students. Are you looking for the bat? No, bad. Don't
The
Okay,
commit
well,
crimes.
commit crimes.
No, don't do that. Thank you.
So these two Harvard students took a pair of Meta Ray-Ban glasses and essentially found a way to like live dox people by essentially they take the glasses, they run it to a live stream on Instagram, and then they have a computer set up that is scanning the Instagram live feed video, facially recognizing people, like recognizing a face, taking the face out of the video, and then using some sort of like AI to like reverse image search it through the web and then send to your phone all of the information it can find online about a face that it just saw. So it's this video, these two kids like going around like a subway and essentially like walking up to people and being like, oh, are you blah, blah, blah? Do you have this like charity in this country where you do stuff like this? And the guy's like, yes. And there's
a video about
a video of them doing it to different people on like the subway they've never met. They know like their names, they know their relatives' names, they know like
Where they
different
live.
places. And it's all based on public information because it's finding photos of people online and just using the correct like different ways they trained it to search through faces online. One of the wildest ones is they're like on campus and they just go up to this girl like eating lunch and like, do you live at blah, 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 blah? And she's like, yes. They're not releasing any of this. And the reason they said they made it is because they want to show that like we all talk about this dystopian future of like facial recognition and cameras everywhere and showing like that's not the future. This is totally capable right now, which is kind of terrifying. But
I was gonna say this just sounds like a proof of concept.
It is.
They were
it
like,
is a proof.
yeah,
of
like, we're
a
just gonna
product.
show that this thing exists already.
Yes.
Yeah, but
And
then
it's terrifying.
why test it on unsuspecting individuals whose months you just ruined?
I think they're just, yeah, I mean,
Not wrong.
yeah, I mean, yeah, good point. But I do think they're just like trying to show that like devices you can get off the shelf today can do pretty weird stuff like this.
That took a hard left turn from where I thought you were. Because the way I pictured it, you were like, there are these Harvard students and they got these glasses, and then you can like relay the footage from the glasses anywhere, and then using image recognition. And I thought you were gonna say like something like, you know, Gemini or whatever could analyze the buildings around you and like figure out where you are in space.
well, that's
and,
what the Meta AI already does.
Exactly. Which I thought, again, like this is every tech has all this upside and then all this horrible downside that comes with it, which is like, it would be cool if like your superpower is you could just look up at any building and it could just tell you what building it is, or like tell you what landscape or what history it is.
Projected onto your hand what building it was.
Well, probably not. That wouldn't work. But something like, these AR glasses could tell you like what you're walking to find your car, and it tells you with a little arrow over like where you're parked, or
like
something
Google
like that.
Glass.
Yeah, it could be actually like pretty cool and useful. But the dark side of this is this sharp left turn you made, which is, it can also just tell you anything about the people because of the facial recognition and the public databases about them, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, like a cool superpower to have would be to just look at someone and immediately know their name.
Yeah, exactly. That's the example that's been used hundreds of times. It's like, what if you just like didn't have to remember this stuff and you could always know people's names?
Yeah.
But then when I was a kid, I was like, that's incredible. And now I'm like, oh my God.
The downside is enormous.
Sure, I want anyone to know who I'm on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
So-
like, it's funny though, because they built this all with like nothing too far outside of the ordinary. Like they're obviously super talented and they found a way for whatever program they built to watch the video, recognize what a face is, pull a screenshot of that face and use that as an image search. But all they did was like the very basic things that are allowed in the Ray-Ban glasses. Like Ray-Ban Meta has a privacy policy that says like respect people's preferences and urge you to clearly gesture you're capturing video or live streaming. But like, what does that mean? Like, please tell people you're streaming. Like, I don't know. There's so much bad that could come out of that. In the wrong hands.
No one's ever used a Meta product to do anything bad before. Okay, guys, let's not get crazy.
Yeah, it's not like Cambridge Analytica didn't really happen. like Mark Zuckerberg said.
I was going to say, not to get political, but here we are. Not to get political, but China has been doing this for like a decade plus, right? You know, like with like
CCTV.
off the shelf parts.
This is the argument that people were making about the Google image manipulation thing, because it's the same thing. It's people are saying Photoshop's been able to do that forever. The thing is, it's not about the ability to do it necessarily. It's about the accessibility of it. I think that's the whole point of these glasses. It's like, technically, yeah, you could set up your own security camera attached to your laptop that is constantly streaming and do the same thing. The point is, we are like now buying things off the shelf that could be easily modified to be able to do this, that nobody would be able to notice because everyone's wearing them. I think that's the point that they were trying to make.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Point taken.
We're closer than we think.
yeah.
And do you know what else starts with a T?
Now I'm really bummed out.
Trivia.
Sorry.
I wish I you know, this story bummed me out so much. I'm not gonna hit the button. I'm just gonna go. Ba, 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 ba. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a hard left turn right there.
Correction. Earlier this episode, I said that inside the CRT TV was a photon gun. That was wrong. It's actually an electron gun.
This episode?
This episode, I've been waiting for the chance to correct
did
that
you
because
say
the
that?
words left my mouth and I felt like a big
Dummy.
idiot. Anyway, David actually already ruined my trivia question earlier this episode. I had to write another one.
What was it?
It was about the HoloLens military contracts.
Oh.
So thanks, David.
Appreciate
In
that.
Ellis's defense, that was the answer, not the question.
HoloLens military. What kind of podcast have we become? Jeez.
Well, no. It's because they canceled HoloLens 2, but they the earliest reports, because it's a developing story, the earliest reports indicated they did not cancel the military spec HoloLens 2, which is called it has a very silly name. It is called the Integrated Visual Augmentation System, and it looks terrifying.
For war.
For war. Yes. Anyway, HoloLens 2 has a trim option, which is called the Trimble XR10. The HoloLens 2 Trimble XR10 is a normal HoloLens with what attached to it?
Trimble?
The Trimble XR10.
I have a guess.
It's wrong.
Well, we'll find out
Not
what
gonna
that
tell
guess
you.
is.
You'll find out what that guess is at the very end, like usual. But we'll be right back. Support for Waveform comes from AT&T. So what does it feel like to get the new iPhone 16 Pro with AT&T Next Up Anytime? It's like when you first pick up those tongs and you're now the one running the grill. It's indescribable. It's like something you've never felt before. All the mouth-watering anticipation of new possibilities, whether that's making the perfect cheeseburger or treating your family to a grilled baked potato, which you know will forever change the way you look at potatoes. With AT&T Next Up Anytime, you can feel this way again and again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on them and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024 with Siri and device language set to US English. Some features and languages will be coming over the next year. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next up, Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time, subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See att.com/iPhone for details. Support for Waveform comes from Life360. So Life360 is a family connection and safety app that makes it incredibly easy to keep track of your family members, whether that's your sibling, your child, or even a household pet, because all they want to be able to do is go outside and play with their friends without you having to worry. But they still need you to do things like clean up after them. That talking point is actually both for kids and pets. But Life360 Place Alert notifications lets you know whether your kids arrived at school on time or the dog has wandered a bit too far from the backyard. And with a tile from Life360, you can easily attach and track items like a backpack or a duffel bag or a pet's collar, all to help alleviate the mental load of managing a busy family.
Putting this on like a dog collar is so much better than the microchipping that we used to do for pets, because that only ever helped if the pet was lost and then found and brought to a vet and you could tell who it came from. This lets you be a bit more proactive with that, of like, oh, they made it a bit too far, I should probably go look for them. Or if they're gone, oh, they were last seen in this area. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
You can get right to them. So family-proof your family with Life360's Tile Trackers. Visit tile.com today and use code WAVE to get 15% off. That's tile.com, code WAVE.
All right, welcome back. Two more quick things. One quicker than the other. The Pro Camera app, Halide? Oh, great start, Andrew.
Is this a bit now?
I was like, we did this last
Halide?
Halide. It's
Halide?
They
silver halide crystals
added
on film.
new camera control features on top of, with the new iPhone 16 camera control button.
Quick pop quiz.
Okay.
Quick pop quiz. Raise your hand in the room if you are using a 16th gen iPhone. Okay, so just David. Keep your hand raised if you've used camera control more than once in the past 2 days.
Besides to show people how it works.
Besides to demo it to people.
And to open the camera app.
Besides to demo it to people.
I use it to open the camera app.
Okay.
Every
same.
time.
Same.
Okay.
Could you
But
not
then
do that
that's
with the power button before?
You could do that with the action button, with the swipe on the home screen, with the lock screen shortcut. You could do it 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
But now you can also do it
Siri.
with that
I'm
button.
sensing you guys don't like it very much.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just it's not
Useful.
that much better than using the screen of the phone,
How dare you?
unfortunately.
Yeah. And
It
it's
is-
more difficult in a
Okay,
lot of
well,
ways.
I think one of the features, because now you can control focus and exposure in Halide. I do think focus controls on that in video would probably be nicer than having your finger over the screen.
I still don't think so.
I don't really think
Really?
so.
Because the
All right,
tab on
well-
the side of the phone isn't big enough. I would rather use the enormous screen and only block part of it with my thumb.
Cool. Next story.
Okay, we talked about this for our another episode we'll have in the future that we did in the past. But I really think that this button is too complicated. It's too complicated.
David, save it for the future.
All right.
That's our teaser for the future episode.
Yeah.
That we shot in the past.
Anyway,
Okay, cool.
we'll talk about it in
Yeah.
the future.
Well, next segment, and I'm going to open this up. This is not an ad, but it might feel like an ad. It's a
Hashtag.
product that we got recently that I myself and a lot of people in the studio have been thoroughly enjoying. It's the new Linus Precision Screwdriver. Have you guys have all played with this, right?
I played with the spinny
Yes.
part.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
What a bearing.
The LTT team sent us over a few of these, and I can't believe how impressed I am by
How much
this
it spins.
little screwdriver.
I've never used it to screw anything in, but as a fidget toy,
Yeah.
it is impeccable.
It's a
It is. They put a ball bear to explain to audio listeners. It is a small screwdriver, very similar to the iFixit kit. We'll talk about that in a minute. Small precision screwdriver for smaller,
precision tasks.
precision tasks that are unlike what the regular Linus screwdriver is, which I also use and I
It's
also
very big.
like a lot.
Yeah.
But not normally in these small precision screwdrivers do you have a bit compartment for it when you pull up the top.
Yeah.
But what they did specifically that is fantastic with this thing is they put a ball bearing in the little top that has their logo on it, and this sucker rips.
It does. Let it rip, Andrew.
You hear that?
And it will do that for about 3 minutes.
I think at least 60 seconds. Like,
Yeah. Longer
really.
than that.
Really solid.
Let's just all sit here and wait 60 seconds while this goes.
Okay. And he has it at an angle, so it would actually go longer if he had it straight up.
I was
wasn't working against
joking.
gravity.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. Because it's the bearing in it is trying to do that.
So yeah, that's basically it. That's why we like the screwdriver.
Still disagree. This also, I just want to say, for every competition we've had in here of who can spin it the longest, I've won every time. Just saying.
Really?
Is that why
Yes.
you like it so much?
Wait, but Marques can rip a frizz, so he might be able to do it even harder.
I mean, okay, I'll just do a really quick breakdown of what this is. For $30, you get. Oh,
It's
just broke it.
$30. That's it.
No. Hold on.
Screwdriver
No,
was.
it is $30 for just the screwdriver
Oh,
with no bits. The reason they did that is because, from what I heard, they match the bits with the iFixit kit to like fit perfectly because they've already, partnered with iFixit a bunch.
Just a hexagon, right?
I'm
yeah.
buying one right now.
There is something
Not
very
an ad.
there's something very specific that they mentioned with how the bits fit, whereas like
Or a magnet,
some
maybe?
screwdrivers measure the inside to the standard, where they measure the opening to the standard, where some the bits are measured to the standard. So if you have one of one and one of the other, it won't fit because they'll be the same size. One has to be bigger, one has to be smaller. And I think iFixits are a little different, so they actually match theirs to fit with iFixit. So if you have an iFixit kit already, because a lot of LTT fans have an iFixit
Because it was
kit,
sponsored. Yeah, they've been sponsored by them
yep,
a lot.
you can for $30 buy this, and it can replace your iFixit screwdriver because this
piece of
does
garbage.
not spit any. This is a great
Is
screwdriver.
that like the only
still.
difference? Is
It
that
just doesn't spin as well, and it doesn't have the compartment on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
They also did a great job with the compartment because it has this very nice mechanism to where it just actuates and goes down. It's never
pretty
like,
cool.
stuck halfway through.
If
Yeah.
you have the okay.
Say that again.
Well, if you have the iFixit kit thing,
You're just buying the new
don't-
screwdriver for the mechanism.
You're just
put 'em
buying
in there.
this.
and the fidget toy.
You can put them in there, but if you're like taking it somewhere, you can put a couple
Yeah.
inside.
You
Keep
hold 'em
your
with you.
favorites.
Yeah, or
It's like your bookmarks.
if you only use 5 or 6, you can keep just basically that in your drawer.
If I were doing this, I would probably keep the standard ones that I use for like all my computer builds
quick draw.
up here, so I don't have to remember each time. Because
it
they're so
ratcheting?
minuscule. No, I don't believe so.
Oh.
No, it's not ratcheting.
Non-ratcheting screwdriver.
I'm a fanboy for the OG Linus Tech Tips screwdriver.
Tech Tips,
That's
yeah.
the one.
It is a really great screwdriver.
That was
I have that one.
that ratchet.
It ratchets. It has a little bit compartment. It doesn't spin, but it's
No.
pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. A lot of people also recommend an electric screwdriver. On,
there's a very
Amazon.
specific one all the keyboard people use. Magic Stick, I think, or something.
So is this like somewhere in between like a drill and a
Yes.
analog screwdriver?
Wow Stick. Wow Stick
Wow
is a
Stick.
very popular one in the
An
keyboard
acoustic
world.
screwdriver.
An analog screwdriver.
And a,
But so $30 for the screwdriver, $50 for the case with 60 bits. In terms of comparisons to iFixit, this kit from iFixit with 64 bits is
64-bit.
64-bit.
Nice.
Is $40, but it does also come with arguably the best tool in all of these, which is
the
the
bendy
like
driver.
150 millimeter bending
It's good for building
extender.
computers, yeah.
This thing is awesome.
Yeah.
But I think it's super well priced. The case is great. The whole build quality is great. Linus does a great job with all their stuff. So
Orange.
It's orange.
It's orange.
Well, it's like a red
For
like a
paying an extra $10 because it's like a creator that you like and you're supporting them, I think is a super fair creator tax, if you want to say that. But I'm sure this was not
well,
cheap
the ball
to build.
bearing too is
The
nice.
ball bearing is so nice. I think there's different tops you can buy as well.
Oh, really?
Anyways, I'll end it here because I just feel like I'm like
They should have paid us
chilling
like,
so
they could have
hard.
paid
Yeah,
us, like,
my
a lot of
LTT
money.
affiliate code is
Yeah.
it's great.
No,
Highly
I
suggest
feel
it.
you.
Ellis, I'm sure will try it. And I think I want it like we know a product is good when people come to our like middle table where we open things and like play with the new product. These have been spun by every member in this studio multiple times, and they've been stolen to desks more often than I can count. And you just hear people spinning them all day. So, great job, LTT team.
Yeah, what happened to fidget spinner? I'm gonna buy a fidget spinner.
No, buy this instead. We have
but
3 of them.
Bring them back.
Fidget spinner. Yeah, they still sell them.
Do you know what I saw interesting with a fidget spinner the other day? There's this really great creator, Grace Wells. She does like product videography, like kind of like really good advertising stuff, but she did it on TikTok where it'd be like, I would buy X from you, and then we'll do like a whole close-up macro, kind of like our intros ads on like a coconut or like something like a wall outlet. And the way she does a lot of the spinning shots is she just puts it on top of a fidget spinner and spins it on a table.
As his lazy Susan.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I thought it was really smart.
Because the ball bearing is so amazing in a fidget spinner. Anyway, that's about it for this week.
I think it's
We've
time.
really run the gamut. We should probably wrap it up though with this other thing that starts with a T.
Telegram news.
Trivia.
Oh,
Telegram, dude.
they gave the data to the cops. That's the news.
Jesus. Wait, that's the
You can cut that.
That's the whiteboards.
No, that's staying because everyone should use Signal. So,
Hey,
quick update on the score. Marques with 17.
Lagging.
Andrew and David tied with 21. So, for question 1, Christian Selig, maker of the Reddit Apollo app, has a YouTube channel. His last video was about making a computer accessory, one of which is in his room right now. Not the one he made, just like a version of that accessory. What accessory did he build on his YouTube channel?
Quick question. He made it from scratch?
He made it from scratch.
He did make it from scratch.
Like scratch.
Yeah, like legit scratch.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I thought you just said tech accessory.
Yo, I'm going to take this 90-second break to go on a tangent because this has been on my mind for like a week now.
This is about the wild robot.
The precision screwdriver made me think of it. I was on Reddit, as I go on sometimes. Don't really like that website, but someone made a Reddit post about buying a hammer for their concrete crew, and they're like, "What do you think of this hammer?" And one of the comments was literally, "Bro, this is the Ferrari of hammers." And I looked it up, and this hammer is in between $250 and $350. And everyone in the comments is like, once you swing this hammer, you will know what being God feels like. So if anyone in the comments is a framer that has ever used a stiletto Trimbone series hammer, if you know what it's like to swing that hammer, let me know in the comments.
I want to feel what that's like.
Boy, am I curious.
You know what's funny is on the bonus episode when you brought your keyboard.
When I didn't bring my keyboard?
When you didn't bring your keyboard, when you talked about your keyboard and you said, so if anyone was thinking of buying the Korg SV7032 keyboard.
That's not bad.
Was it
pretty close.
SV70?
SV273 SP. But,
Oh, wow. It was actually close.
Yeah.
There was a comment that was like, bro, nobody's thinking of buying the keyboard.
But, like I said, if you have swung a 10, 14, or 15 ounce Trimbone hammer made by Stiletto, please let me know how it feels because
14,
I am
15.
curious.
You can only swing it if you're worthy. Flip it and read. What do you got?
Okay, I hope we're all right.
Okay, what'd you guys say?
All said keyboard.
And I also drew one.
Correct.
How?
Technically, I was looking for mechanical keyboard, but I'll give it to you. Whatever.
Well, it was a
it's fine.
split ortholinear keyboard.
Oh my god! See, this is why I'm just giving it to you.
With Gatoron Blues at 48
forget
gram
what switches you
activation
use.
point.
All right, gamers.
I got one right, guys. That's huge. Turning this franchise around.
I think Adam initially said
Process.
Yeah.
tech
Hey.
accessory.
Yeah, you said computer
You
accessory
said
the
computer
second time.
accessory the second time.
Oh, that helps me a lot.
I saw Marquez's light bulb go off
Yeah,
and look
I did
straight at the
too.
keyboard on the.
Well, because I was looking at computer accessories and I was like, Andrew said it showed up on his recommended. So it's
Good.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, because I follow Christian. You don't.
Well, I know what your algorithm
I
is.
subscribed to him after this.
Actually, I didn't. I think I found it on Twitter and didn't know he had a YouTube channel.
We should just title this episode 253, Christian
We
Selly.
should just put him in the thumbnail as one of the people.
All right, question number 2. HoloLens 2 has a trim option called the Trimble XR10, which is a standard HoloLens 2 with what attached to it?
It's got to be.
It's like attached to it.
Maybe it would be more fair to say that the HoloLens 2 is attached to it, but yeah, they are attached and inseparable.
A rail gun.
That's what I wrote.
It is attached to it.
Another product that I think is like the god tier version of its class is
Dude, this is my favorite genre of product.
okay.
The best.
Do you cook at home ever?
No, not like god tier product cooking.
All right. The Lamson brand spatulas. If you have never used a Lamson brand spatula,
Yeah, I'm
Lamson,
so in.
dude, It's a $60 spatula. It seems not.
Is it
Yeah.
plastic?
Oh, I have a
No.
killer pepper grinder.
All right. See, some good answers. Marquez, I can't see yours, so why don't you go first?
I wrote battery.
No.
Or chair.
No, but that's awesome.
You connect the chair.
I'm
to your
imagining some
HoloLens?
chair that the HoloLens is attached to.
an electric chair?
No, like
Electric
extra, I don't know, like a 4D experience.
40.
I like it.
40. I wrote field of view extender.
What is that?
Like, okay, so the HoloLens
Lenses.
doesn't have a particularly wide field of view. It only has like a certain area.
Right.
And since it had XR in the name, I was kind of thinking that it had something to do with like extended
range,
reality.
yeah.
Or extended range or extended
Yes.
reality.
Yes, but no, unfortunately. The correct answer
Yes, yet no.
is a hard hat
Oh,
for construction sites.
That's an accessory.
That was the XR10.
That was the Trimble XR10. Here, I'll send you a picture
Wait,
of it right now.
An official accessory?
It's not an accessory. It's a trim option. If you go to Microsoft.com, hit HoloLens 2, the first one that comes up is HoloLens 2. The second one that comes up is HoloLens 2 Industrial Edition, which is made for people who are clean suits. And the third option is the Trimble XR10 with HoloLens 2.
So you can buy. Wait, is it built into the hard hat?
All the listings I could see made it seem like that, but perhaps it is just a specially sized one. But it looks like it's part of the hard hat, like
Trimble
the battery.
Field Technology.
Here, I'll send you the.
I'm on the page.
Oh, you're on the page, aren't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
these spatulas look primo.
Dude, it's
They're full tang.
They're and
Yeah,
like
I have the whole page up right now.
they're not sharp enough to like cut yourself on, but they have a really sharp edge. So when you're cooking in a stainless or a cast iron, you can get under something and pick all of that up and leave all the fond. It's like
I think the best part about stuff like this in high quality kitchen utensils is like going full tang and having the balance of like the handle and hand feel of all of it is
cooking feels different with a Lamson.
Yeah.
And that was not sponsored either. I just love your
My pepper mill is by Unicorn Mills. Just saying.
Oh.
It's fantastic. It's like $60, but
Why
it's
didn't you
not
bring-
wooden.
Yeah, you should have brought this on the
not
podcast last week.
It's not wooden, but
So there are two
dishes
different
pepper.
types of Waveform listeners. One that love it when we go on tangents, and some that hate it. So
we're
to
after
you,
trivia at this point.
I'm sorry or you're welcome.
Also, the Trimble XR10 is made by Trimble. Which
Marquez,
just
take us out.
has
Thanks for watching.
the HoloLens attached to it.
Thanks for listening. This has been an exciting return to your regularly scheduled uploads. But of course, we have much more for the rest of this year. It's 2024. You already know. It's that time of year. It's lots of exciting stuff. So stay tuned. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for rating. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Waveform is produced by Adam Molina and Ellis Rovin. We're partnered with Vox Media Podcast Network, and our intro outro music was created by Vane Still.
Fun fact: in the Wild Robot children's movie that I saw, near the end of the movie, the duckling that the robot has to raise does one of those peregrine falcon dives and breaks through the robot chamber.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.